How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today I'm going to be showing you guys all the DVDs and Blu-rays I bought during the month of November. And there's some pretty good stuff in here. We have, I believe, 20 items total, but it really is a little bit more than that because I do have some multi-packs, but some really good multi-packs too. I'll show you those in a second. But yeah, 20 is getting a little bit on the larger side again, I know, but this time I had to go to Dallas to drop my parents off at the airport, and well, since I was in Dallas anyway, I might as well swing by the big half-price books and the big movie trading company in Dallas. And yeah, I picked up a few too many things going there, but whatever, it's fun. I do also want to say that I have found some stuff in here that I have been looking for quite some time. The very first thing I'll show you has been something I've been looking for about 5 years, since I seriously started collecting DVDs, and I am so glad to finally find it. But I guess without further ado, let's switch over to the close-up camera. I'll show you guys what I got. So, to the close-up camera. Alright, here we are inside the castle, taking a closer look at my movies. Now, usually I do Blu-rays first, and I will after this one DVD. This is one that's been something that I've been looking for like 5 years now, and I bought it. I finally saw it in stores, and that is the very rare and out-of-print Fright Night Part 2. Now, there is a Fright Night 2, what you see in stores all the time. That's the sequel to the remake. This is the sequel to the original, and I think it even has a lot of the original cast in it. And yeah, it sounds like this time around, another vampire shows up, but this time it's a female vampire going after the guy. And the first Fright Night was such a fun movie, a real classic, directed by Tom Holland, and I've been looking for this thing for forever. I saved the little sticker from the used movie store. I paid $50 for it, which was a lot, I know, but this was literally the first time I had ever seen it in a physical store, and it's even they put rare out of print on the front. And I went home and I looked up how much this was on Amazon, and at the time, it was like $80 or something, so I still actually did get a pretty decent price on it. But boy, yeah, a movie I've been looking forward to forever. Now I have to binge the Fright Night movies, because it's, yeah, I've been wanting to watch this for a bit. Anyway, crack it open. Disc is the same as the front, and table of contents, and an ad for other movies they've made. That artisan label, a lot of them are super common. Some artisan stuff can get pretty hard to find though. But anyway, really am glad I finally got my hands on this. And of course, now that I have it, someone will probably re-release it on Blu-ray or something, but whatever. Still glad to pick up a movie that I've been looking forward to since the beginning of my series collecting. I don't know if you could hear my cat's down there and she just sneezed. Anyway, moving on to the Blu-rays now. Another thing I'm really happy to get, the complete Rankin and Bass Christmas Collection. 18 holiday specials. This is really great. Rudolph and Frosty, a lot of those classics were made by the same animation company, and I was looking around and I was seeing a bunch of them only had like 1, maybe 2 to 5 movies in them, but this is everything. The whole series, and that's the way I prefer to collect. So everything's right here in this nice Blu-ray. It's pretty cool. And if we flip it to the back, Rudolph and Frosty, they're most famous ones, but it also says all the specials they have in here, and yeah, 18, boy, that's a whole lot of them. You know, you get the big ones, and then you get ones that are a little lesser known, like Jack Frost, but then you get some obscure stuff, like The Little Drummer Boy Book 2, Pinocchio's Christmas, The Leprechaun's Christmas Gold. those are the stuff that would be a huge pain to find on physical media, and I really am interested in the obscure stuff like that. And I also like, this is the complete Christmas set, but they also do include things like Rudolph and Frosty's Christmas in July and Rudolph's Shiny New Year. Kind of tangentially Christmas, but whatever, it's still cool to have. And we get some bonus features. Now this, if we slide it open, it has a book that's too big to fit in the case, so you gotta slide it into the slip. And the book has a little introduction, and it also has the posters and some information about each of the movies, which is pretty cool. And then the DVD cover is the same as the front. We get all the technical information here on the inside, but we get 5 discs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you see how some of these do have a lot of shorts on them, but bear in mind that these aren't full-length movies. They're like usually half-hour time blocks or hour time blocks, and that'll be a little less with the commercials taken out, so I have no doubt that they can fit them all in. And books gotta go in that way, the pages will get stuck. But yeah, really glad to have this multi-pack. Anyway, after that, I picked up another Studio Ghibli movie. Now, I've been trying to collect these. I've been picking up 1 or 2 a month, most months, and I want them all on Blu-ray with this matching slipcase. Now, I picked up all the ones that they had at Walmart already, but I was actually at Target doing a little Christmas shopping. I don't often go to Target. It's pretty similar to Walmart, just slightly more expensive, so I don't typically go there. But I was in there, and they had one that Walmart didn't have, and I was like, hey, pick this up, because when you see them at Walmart or Target, they're like $15, and my more movie-based movie store, they usually go for like 20 to 30, so glad to pick up one of these here. And Castle in the Sky, flip it to the back, and it seems to be about this engineer who meets a girl who can fly, and she's looking for the castle in the sky, and apparently bad guys are after it too. So it seems pretty fun. I need to go on a Studio Ghibli binge soon. They do have the Ghibli ad, a booklet for the movie, and then the DVD and Blu-ray, the little Totoro is how you tell the difference, and with different artwork on each disc, which I think is pretty cool. So glad to grab another Studio Ghibli movie for the collection. I think this brings me up to like 7 or 8 movies, and I think they have a little more than 20, so I'm about a third of the way through the collection. I'm hoping to get them as uniform as I can, because I think most of them were released under this G Kids label. Anyway, after that, another one that I had been looking for a while, but kind of a weird circumstance, and this is Wes Craven's Swamp Thing. Now, this is not one of Wes Craven's better movies, but if you want a cheesy monster movie, it's pretty fun. And yeah, I was always a big fan of the DC Comics character, and yeah, glad to pick up the movie on Blu-ray. I had the sequel on Blu-ray, so it's good to get them where they match. I had the first one on DVD, but here's the interesting thing about this release, is this actually features the American cut and the unrated international cut, and that's what I've been looking for a while. There's not too much difference, but basically they initially released Swamp Thing on DVD with the international cut, and then some parents complained and they switched it back to the regular theatrical cut, and it's only like a minute or 2 difference or something, but it was one of those things that I'm like, will I ever find the Swamp Thing international cut? And now they finally just put it out there again. I don't have a 4K player, but this does have the Blu-ray in it as well, and I am looking forward to eventually getting my 4K player someday. But if we crack this open, there's the 4K disc, there's the Blu-ray, and if we unfold this, this is the poster from the front of the box. It's kind of a small poster, but it's pretty interesting, and you can see the little, I think that's like a Laserdisc cartridge. I'm not 100% sure, but a pretty interesting release. for a pretty fun and cheesy movie, so I'm glad to finally pick up the international cut, because when it was only on DVD, that DVD of the international cut was going for a ton of money. But anyway, let's transition into the DVDs in kind of a fun way. We were at Swamp Thing just a second ago. Now time to take a look at Man-Thing. Yeah, I do love, because, you know, everyone talks about the MCU. I kind of do like finding the super obscure Marvel movies. I found this for like $5, so it was pretty cheap. Now, I don't know much about Man-Thing, because the original, you know, I was always into Swamp Thing, you know? But Man-Thing seemed pretty cool. And this one talks about how they get a new sheriff, and there's something hiding in the swamp, so that sounds pretty fun. Anyway, crack it open. Disc is the same as the front. Now that we're in DVDs, I have to show you some pretty cool big things. One, Tremors. Tremors is some action worm movies, a creature feature. This small town in the desert gets beset by these giant worms that start eating people. And the original has Kevin Bacon in it. The original's fun, and I saw the first 3 or so sequels, and I thought they were cool. Not as good as the first one, but still pretty cool. But I was watching those on my parents' DVDs, so I didn't have any of the series myself, and I kept seeing the 7-movie collection, and I kept meaning to buy it. And then, 7 movies and the TV series. So that's a lot better. And if we flip it to the back, there's some pictures and information, but we also get the pictures of all the different things that are in here. So I do like seeing all that. And I did have to gently shake it to make sure none of the DVDs are loose, because let me tell you, there's a lot of DVDs in here. Crack it open and we see that the first 4 movies are on double disc, but then we get 5 and 6, 7, and then the TV series is on 3 disc of its own. So this is quite a big book there. Anyway, so I got all of Tremors right in one place. That's pretty cool. And moving on, I got something from Walmart that actually went in and out of Walmart pretty quick. I think they sold out of this relatively fast where I lived, and I was glad I literally got the last copy in the store. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Now, I've heard this was pretty bad, but that being said, the people that I heard that from didn't watch a bunch of direct-to-video Walmart movies. I think it's actually probably a little better than a lot of those. But basically, Winnie the Pooh, the character, not the Disney shorts, but the character, went into the public domain, and in turn, you get someone making a slasher horror movie based on it, where Winnie the Pooh is mad that Christopher Robin left him and is going to go and murder all his friends. I can't resist that. I know it's bad, but I can't resist it. Anyway, crack it open. Disc is the same as the front. Can't wait to get my hands on it and see what's up. After that is another thing. I'm getting a lot of stuff this month that I've been wanting for a minute. And this is Stephen King's The Shining. Not Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, Stephen King's The Shining. Basically, Stephen King wasn't a fan of Kubrick's movie and produced this miniseries. And I saw it's 3 episodes that are about an hour and a half long each, and I saw the first 2. It's nowhere near the Kubrick movie, but it's okay enough where, like, if this was the only thing that came out, people would be like, oh yeah, that's kind of cool. But yeah, no, it doesn't stand up at all to the Kubrick movie, but it's okay. And I do like to see a longer version that's a little more faithful to the book. I do want to stress, though, not perfectly faithful. Everyone thinks this is a 1-to-1, and it's really not. But anyway, there's the chapters, and cracking it open, this shiny disc has parts 1 and 2, and this has part 3 on it. So yeah, about 4.5 hours of The Shining there. Anyway, moving along, I did pick up the movie Teeth. Some of you know what this movie's about, but it was made in that air of let's try to make something extreme and crazy, you know, kind of like a Human Centipede or something. But in Teeth, this girl has, I believe it's a mutation, where she has teeth in her privates, and whenever a guy tries to assault her, they'll defend her. So, yeah, a pretty out there idea. And this was one that I remember people would talk about, like, did you see that? I can't believe they made a movie like that. So I figured I found it for cheap. I should finally pick it up because, you know, even if it is crazy and extreme, it is quite a notable movie in that regard. But yeah, I haven't actually seen the whole thing, so I should give that a watch. Anyway, another movie, kind of a cult following, Dead End. Dead End actually has Lin Shaye and the guy from Twin Peaks in it, and they're driving home for Christmas, so I should probably cover this movie pretty soon because it is a Christmas movie, right? And they get stuck on this strange, never-ending road and can't find their way out. I don't think it's a perfect movie, but a lot of people really do love this movie, and it does an interesting thing for its, you know, budget and concept and all. But yeah, trapped on a never-ending highway going somewhere for Christmas. It's a good enough concept, but it is definitely strangled a little bit by that budget, but still pretty fun. Another one I was looking for, the Redwoods Massacre. I actually had the sequel, Redwoods Annihilation or something. The sequel had Danielle Harris in it, and that came out, and I picked it up when it came out. I'm like, I need to find the original, and I finally ran across it in stores, so now I have both of them, and it's like a slasher movie that takes place in the Redwoods, and it's like a killer that was dormant for 20 years, but people investigate, and he comes back or something. It looks like an okay slasher, doesn't look like the best thing ever, but for having just part 2 sitting on my shelf for so long, glad to finally get part 1, and now I can explore the duology. Anyway, after that I have a crazy Italian horror film, and that is In the Folds of the Flesh. I gotta love some giallo, I gotta love some extreme cinema, and if we flip it to the back, it doesn't really tell you too much about the plot. It just keeps saying it's one of the more extreme and psychedelic and out there giallo movies, and it's uncut for the first time ever in America. And I'm like, don't really know what this is about, but you tell me it's one of the more extreme giallo, I'll take a look at it. So hopefully it's a wacky ride there. Anyway, moving on to a pretty obscure one. We're kind of getting into the obscure stuff now. I picked up Kill House. And yes, I picked up the movie Kill House because I thought it was funny that they called a movie Kill House. That just seems like a cheesy name, Kill House. But flip it to the back and apparently it's about a group of realtors that are going in a sort of slasher manner. So a slasher where the killer is targeting realtors could be interesting. I'll have to see there. Anyway, moving on, I found a found footage movie, or at least I think it is, Paranormal Asylum. Paranormal has become one of those words like haunting or Amityville, where one word and you're in the mockbuster territory. But yeah, we know Paranormal Activity, and then we get things like Captivity or Entity. There's been a ton of paranormal movies that aren't Paranormal Activity, and here we have Paranormal Asylum. And it talks about how they're investigating the building where Typhoid Mary died, and apparently she's coming back or something. But yeah, I have a ton of found footage movies, and I'm always looking forward to watching another one. There's something kind of more real about them, but also kind of chill at the same time. It's weird and hard to describe. Then I got this other random one, Inheritance. And there's all these covers that are like, you know, the body covers, you know, where it's like, you know, bare back and shoulder blades, and she's got her head that she's holding on, but not quite exactly level. It's a striking cover, big, blood red, unrated, and it talks about how there are these people that in order to inherit the house have to do this special ritual where they like stay in it or something. And the guy who's kind of monitoring this whole thing is actually Keith David. So a cool celebrity pull there. See how much he's actually in the movie. But got to love a inheritance horror movie. You know that old concept, you can have the house as long as you spend a night within its walls. I don't know if it's exactly that, but it sounds fun. Anyway, after this, I have some line films. You know, films that belong in a certain series or line of films. And start off with this one. And I know what you're thinking. You just said line films and you pull up a multi-pack. Well, I really only bought this for one movie. But this is the Paranormal Encounters collection. And it goes 28 hauntings. However, if you flip to the back, it includes a bunch of One Step Beyond in the Veil. So a lot of the stuff in here is TV episodes. But we have Maniac, one of the many films called Maniac. Not Dead Enough, the Boneyard collection, but this is what I wanted. 7 Nights of Darkness. 7 Nights of Darkness is part of the Paranormal Investigations series. Paranormal Investigations was the series in Germany that began with their version of Death of a Ghost Hunter and would include things like Paranormal Activity and 8213 Gacy House. Now, I know it's just a loose collection of films, but I really want to collect all the Paranormal Investigations movies, and this is one more. And that being said, the quality is probably going to be terrible, because look at how much stuff they crammed on one disc. All these episodes and then the 2 movies, although Maniac I think is only like 50 some odd minutes, but then more episodes and then the 2 movies. But 7 Nights of Darkness, needed it for the Paranormal Investigations collection, and now I only have like 8 more of those films to go. But anyway, after that, Bloody Disgusting Selects, and I picked up the movie Outcast. Yeah, Bloody Disgusting Selects. I think this was one of those where I think there was like 8 films or something, and I wound up naturally just picking up a few of them. There might have been more than 8, I'm not sure, but I want to collect them all. And it talks about how there's this woman with mysterious powers and a hunter is after her and it's something to do with the occult. It could be fun. I don't know, but I'll definitely check it out. So this is Outcast. Crack it open, and the disc is that symbol from the front, and I do like original disc art. And it's got this image here, and then a jewel up top. Wonder what's up with that jewel. Anyway, put that there, and then moving on to the After Dark Horror Fest 4. The last one in the Horror Fest, but there'd be several lines from After Dark films, including one called 8 Films to Die For. But yeah, rounding out collecting the last of the After Dark Horror Fest, I do have about 2/3 of it. And yeah, this one's called The Reeds. Flip it to the back and it talks about how there's this boat. The boat washes ashore. There's a gang of punks, but also a mysterious hooded killer that is hunting them down. And I guess where it washes ashore is probably the Reeds. I don't know. Boat movies are fun though. Crack it open. Disc is the same as the front there. Anyway, so that's After Dark Horror Fest 4. 8 Films to Die For. And then Ghost House Underground. And it does have a little bit of a crack here, but I did get it with this sleeve. All the Ghost House Underground films had this plastic sleeve, except for The Tattooist, but I always try to get them with that. And this is The Last House in the Woods unrated, obviously a play on Last House on the Left. But it talks about how these people escape a group of bullies and take refuge with a seemingly kind older couple, but realize they're not when it's too late. And it says here, this is a good quote, easily one of the goriest Italian films in years. So it's an Italian film, that's pretty cool. And we get this little kid yelling at us, that's always fun. But yeah, I'll see how gory and grungy and over the top it really is. There's the disc, and I don't think the ad has all the films in it, but there's a good spread of all the films in this line, and I'm getting pretty close to getting them all. I do need a few more, but yeah, that's the Ghost House Underground line. Ghost House, regular Ghost House, did a lot of stuff that was Sam Raimi's production company, and they did like the remake of The Grudge and Don't Breathe. Lots of cool stuff. Anyway, very last one is another multi-pack, which is actually 1, 2, 3, the fourth multi-pack, but this is the final item, and that is Horror Rises from the Grave, and we can see it's got 4 movies, including Peter Cushing and John Hurt will be in some of these movies, and there are quite a few of these multi-packs with the big 4. I have like 4 Evil Places, Invasion of Terror 4 movies. I don't know what exactly to call this set, but these 1.5 thick cases with the big 4 on them, they made quite a few of these. Flip it to the back though, and it talks about Horror Rises from the Tomb, Zombie Flesh Eaters, Zombie Hell House, and Night of the Ghoul. I love a set where all the movies in it sound made up. But Night of the Ghoul, there was actually a comic called Night of the Ghoul, and in the comic Night of the Ghoul, they were looking for a lost horror film from the past called Night of the Ghoul, and I guess there actually was a movie called that, so that's pretty cool as well. They're officially unrelated, I believe. But anyway, 2 double-sided disc. There we go. And that will be the end. So there it is. I believe there's like 20 items here. A pretty good, pretty big haul, and that's because I went to 2 big stores in Dallas. But for real, Fright Night Part 2, been looking for that forever. Uncut Swamp Thing, Rankin and Boss, Tremors, and some line films. Yeah, it's a pretty good haul, and I'll have to do Dead End for Christmas, right? Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my monthly movie hauls playlist. I've done this for over a year. So if you want to watch a lot of me talking about movies, you can find that there. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Relevant playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.